This is Scott Carpenter. I'm back in the mountains again, and after about a month, I guess, it feels good to be back. Mid-September, 65 degrees, fresh air. You can hear the cars. I'm just a little bit away from the parking lot, but had a lot going on. Not bad, but just a lot going on good. Work, personal life. So a lot of things happening. It's been hard to make content. And for those who hit me up a lot about content, I apologize. Doing the best I can. I would love to put out 2 to 3, maybe 4 a week, but full-time job and everything else is it's, takes time. And for a little bit there, I just kind of had, I don't know if I'd call it writer's block, but I had more just nothing came to my mind that I wanted to talk about. There are things I should talk about. And I'm working on doing some series based on my books. To give information to people, and one on the Sasquatch Awareness Project and one on the DNA, and just kind of go back through and try to do 30-minute or so segments, real deep dive segments on different subjects, matters, break it down into small digestible pieces, and see what we can do there. But today I'm still kind of like, what do I talk about? I mean, there are things on my mind, and it's a recurring theme that I get in my emails and in my questions on my Facebook, etc., about fear, about what are people dealing with. They have PTSD issues, they have fear issues, they've had encounters and they can't get over the fear instilled by that encounter and go back and start doing the things they love to do. And I understand that. I've had my own encounters with Sasquatch, Dogman. Had an eye-to-eye with the Dogman where I pulled my weapon, and for the first time in my life, I think, I came to the realization that I may not survive. I mean, I'd been in the military, but I was fortunate not to have to be in combat. And I've had a car wreck or two, and there's been times when my life was in danger, you could say, but to really have the realization that there's something that can kill me, and from all the intent, the way it was looking at me, that's what it wanted to do. Now, it didn't do that, and it never came. This Dogman was sitting had jumped up on the side of a tree because the foliage was it's 6 foot. I mean, I could just tiptoe see over the top of all this. It was all grown up, and so yeah, I saw it jump, saw it grab a hold of the side of the tree, saw its arms, saw the muscular in the arms, watched it lean back, kind of like jumped up in a tree, and then leaned back like this and looked over its right shoulder with its arms. It was leaning back like that, looking at me because of the way the tree was and the foliage. And, well, I say looking at me like all Sasquatch and other cryptids know, if they stare at you, then your sixth sense will kick in. And you'll know you're being watched more than some of us know regardless. But people that aren't in tune sometimes won't know they're being watched unless they're being stared at. So they don't. He was kind of had his head cocked off to the side, and while he was like basically watching me with his peripheral vision. But when I finally realized what was going on, and I pulled out my gun and had a semi-automatic 40 caliber, and of course I know I didn't keep one in the chamber because I'm afraid of shooting my toe off. But then I know self-defense people are going to jump up and down and holler. You know, might as well have a brick. It's not got one in the chamber. I get it. But anyway, I did chamber around, and I was nervous and excited, so scared. So I didn't let it down easy. I let it pop, and you know, it made the clang, ching, of a round chambering in a automatic. That's when he changed his focus. That's when the ears turned just like, that's when the ears swiveled just like a dog's ears. In his head, he turned his head a little bit to put both eyes right into my eyes. Like, what's your intention? He perceived me as a threat, or I got his attention, let's put it that way. And so, you know, that was the moment that I thought that was it. I thought, you know, he's coming off that tree, and I'm running these scenarios through my head. If he's on all fours, where do I shoot? You know, remain calm, center mass. You know, thinking, where's my knife at? Because I don't know if this will kill him or not. You know, if I hit him, does it kill him? If it doesn't, and he gets to me, what am I going to do? Because I'm going down with a fight. Let's put it that way. Jam my fist down his throat. You know, try to choke him. What? You know, these things going through my head. And fortunately, he didn't come off the tree. And he didn't threaten me. He allowed me to back. I came to my senses, and he allowed me to walk out, and he just watched me go. And so, but I know. I'm telling you all that because I know. You know, it took me a couple weeks. But, you know, I knew I had to overcome that fear. I knew I had to get back in the woods. I just knew that. I knew I couldn't let this. Sorry, with Sasquatch Central. That one that was hiding a couple of years ago was right in this area. Just, y'all can watch over my shoulders. And this is where I found footprints, and there was one up there hiding behind that tree. He looked out at me, etc., etc. A lot of history here. Anyway, oops. And it looks like they've come through with the crew, the maintenance crew, volunteers, and they've done some trail maintenance and cleaned stuff up, which looks nice. Cut stuff back. Found footprints here a couple of years ago in November. So anyway, a long explanation to tell you I know about that fear. And I've related this before, I can only relate to you how I overcome it. And I come up, you know, I'm a Christian, so people come up behind me, so I'll have to stop talking for just a little bit because they all get curious, and then I get into 600 questions about what am I talking about, Sasquatch, etc. So anyway, they're still behind me. I'll just talk quieter, closer to the camera. But anyway, you know, we all deal with fear in different ways. I do through faith, trusting in God, and then I just give my fear over there, knowing that God has my best interest at heart, and knowing that it's all in His hands, and I'm appointed. It's appointed the man wants to die and then the judgment. So I've got that day coming. I know that. And until that day's here, God's not going to allow anything to happen to me, basically. As long as I'm not foolish and do something stupid. But I'm not going to tempt God, be stupid, but for the most part, you know, He's got it. So today's the day I disappear and die, and that's God's will, and that's what's going to happen. So, but I try to use common sense, and you know, go armed when I can, go with a partner when I can, and do the smart things. You know, God gave us a brain to think and expects us to use it. You know, you shouldn't be reckless because you think God's going to protect you. But He's also need not live in fear. I mean, if you study the Bible, Jesus talked all the time about do not fear, do not fear. I can't even remember. I should have looked it up. How many times He says the phrase do not fear. Because fear is what the evil feeds on. And fear's, you know, fear will get you hurt, get you injured. And fear will also control your life and rob your joy. And I guess that's, for me and for those who are dealing with the aftermath of an encounter or two, whether you sought it out or it was something that happened and you didn't want it, don't let it rob your joy. Don't let it take those things away from you that you enjoy doing. And you know, baby steps. Start. That's what I did. Next time I went in the woods, took a friend and a small arsenal with me. But I went back out. I went out. By faith, I went out. And we went back to the exact same area. Found physical evidence of this encounter. And so that's how it started. Just one day at a time. So for those who are dealing with PTSD and the issues with fear and dealing with that and trying to get back out in the woods or hike or camp or whatever activity it is that you've now stopped doing because of your encounter, I encourage you to start taking baby steps. And, you know, go to a place that's totally unrelated to where you had your encounter. You know, try different things. But I am encouraging you not to let fear rob you of your joy and doing the things you love. Still got people behind me. Now I've got a backpack that weighs about 60 pounds, maybe 70. Most of this stuff's just loaded in here for exercise purposes. So I'm going up this hill and I'm going to lose my breath. Oh. Yeah, they're coming. Let me sign off. They're probably going to catch me and pass me, which is fine. And I have a few other things to talk about. So I'm up the mountain. I've got hikers, or a boy and a girl holding hands, walking. Got a couple sisters and their young daughters behind me hiking. So I say sisters because the two ladies look just alike. Except one looked a little older than the other. So I used some deductive reasoning. But another thing that's on my mind, I was talking to my girlfriend and I said, you know, I want to get out and go put out some trail cameras and just go for a good hike. And she's recovering from knee surgery and doing well, but I said, I can't wait till you can go with me. She said, well, I don't want to go. If you're going, you know, when you're going like for what, you know, what you're going for. And I'm like, you mean Sasquatch? And she says, yeah. And it kind of made me realize, I had to tell her, look, I don't research anymore, and I don't. And I realized for the first time, I realized that I was actually putting these cameras out. I really am for the wildlife. The bears, deer, and there's a mountain lion or two that I really like to get on camera, because technically they don't exist yet in the park. They're transient and they move through the park, but they're not residential. There's populations in North Carolina and Kentucky, and so the one I got on trail camera a couple of years ago was deemed to be a transient, and it was a sub-adult, or right at, a young one. But anyway, and like this trail we're on right here, I don't know, for some reason I just feel comfortable on this trail, and I love hiking this trail. But this is also the trail where I did my research. I mean, just about every corner I go around, I can point to a place where I've had hair sample, footprint, trail cam video, some cases now some really good video of them on the back trail doing, whether it's peeking, whether it's doing the one-eye thing, whatever. So, me and this trail and this group of Sasquatch have a lot of history. But if you surveyed me and said, well, which trail would you like to run or like to walk, I'd always come back and say Schoolhouse Gap, Turkey Pen Ridge. And I know it's like, well, that's where all, say you're not investigating or researching anymore, which I'm not, but you choose to go to the trail where they are at. True. And I can't explain that. I mean, it's just I feel comfortable here. I don't feel threatened by them. I mean, there have been times when I feel pressure and feel like I need to leave, and I leave. I don't push it, and I will go to another trail. But I'd say 90% of the time I come up here, every now and then I know I'm being watched, but it's not something that bothers me. It's almost like therapy, like I talked about when we were talking about the fear. It's like facing the fear and coming back here helps me, know that I'm being watched, but not allowing it to ruin my day or affect, or, kind of hone the skill of knowing they're around, but squirrel, bear. Getting towards October, the bear will get really active about October. And we got a lot of hickory nuts, walnuts, beech nuts, and squirrels. So there'll be a lot of noises today. But anyway, I mean, it's kind of like, in a way, I guess it's my own type of therapy. And, I've always found it interesting. It's always been a struggle with me. I love hate, or I know better, but I want to do it anyway type situation. I don't research the Sasquatch anymore, because there's nothing. I mean, we found out everything we can find out, really. And some people say, well, I want to know more, and that's fine. I mean, because I know when you get involved with them, then there's all kinds of unintended consequences, and I don't want those. And I guess that's one of the main reasons I don't do the research and anymore. But like I said, short being kidnapped by a clan and living with them, or having one literally talk to me, I know, you can learn little tidbits, but I just don't think it's profitable for me anyway to research them, to continue to go after them, etc. Because they outclass us. You only see them when they want you to see them, basically. Sometimes somebody gets the drop on them, but it's the exception, not the rule. So, there is no studying them in that sense. There is no, well, I'm going to, here's the Sasquatch cave, and they were living in the cave, so I'm going to set up outside and I'm going to study them. That, number one, is never going to happen, I don't think. And it's almost impossible. I mean, the very rare cases where people have been around them for years and generational things, and they trust the family, yes, but those people are tight-lipped and not going to say anything. I know of one situation like that, and they got so afraid that by even talking to me, they could expose them to dangers like federal agencies or some other way that, they would be outed and then eradicated. That they stopped communicating with me, not because they were unhappy or I did anything. It's the fear of, the clan that they have associated with for like maybe probably going on 3 generations now, will get exposed and harmed. And they have a friendship relationship with this group. They've got pictures of them, clear pictures, not fuzzy pictures, clear pictures of them eating with them at the picnic table, of the juveniles running around the backyard, so, they, in this instance, they didn't, this was years, but, so you've got that situation, but for the most part, they have their rules set, and letting human beings see them, and or being exposed, having their picture taken, are huge no-nos. Communication with us is huge no-no. I mean, some people report regular mind speak, but it's very rare that a human being and a Sasquatch talk verbally in person. And so, that's why I really don't want to do the research anymore, because there's really nothing, I don't think, that I can find. But like I said, there's always that conflict of interest, or that's the wrong word. We, as people, humans, we like to romanticize things like the Sasquatch. And I want to put in our heads that it's somehow the giant keeper of the forest that has some attribute, or somehow purer, cleaner, better than we are, or something of that nature. And, and that you would be special or chosen if one had a relationship with you. I mean, I get that. A lot of people, that's important to them, and they feel like they're special because they've been singled out. I've got a group of people coming. Hang on. Okay, so I'm back. So, it makes us, a lot of us, I'm saying us, feel kind of, quote, special. But really, I don't know if chosen's the right word, or special, because there is a lot that goes with that, a lot of unintended consequences. There's a lot of exposure to things that most people don't want to be exposed to, and that's other cryptids, supernatural activity, paranormal activity, however you want to call it, UFO stuff. I mean, it's all related, it's all together. And so when a tree fell over, see, big old oak tree. Another one snapped. Glad I wasn't here when that happened. So basically, you know, we think of it being, some of us think of it as being chosen or special or somehow to have a more than just a one-time relationship with these beings. And I don't know, parts of me sometimes think it's more than a curse than a blessing. Now some people reverend them and think they're keepers of the forest and that they're have some knowledge to impart, and that's fine. I don't think that or believe that, but if you do, that's fine. I'm a live and let live guy. It's a free country. You believe what you want to believe. And but if you ask my opinion, and like I said, that's why there's this conflict. Why you see me up here on the trail that I know where they live, I've got a back trail camera on just in case, because to be honest with you, I'm not an idiot or a fool. If I ever did get comfortable enough to come out the trail behind me or do something, expose itself where it's not blurry and a 4K camera catches it, there'll always be those that'll scream it's a suit or it's CGI or whatever. But at least for me, and I'm sure there's a few people who would like to see that. It'd be interesting. So, plus I think the cameras help deter them from getting too close. I think I've already explained. There's a lot of back explaining I have to do, but I've rebuked them, and I've got like a 300 feet bubble around me. But I always believe in doing practical. Looks like that was probably a yellow jacket's nest that got dug out. That's what it looks like. I have to watch the yellow jackets, but the skunks, possums, bears, they love them some larvae, and so they go after them. But so I lost my train of thought when I saw that nest dug out. Oh, but you know, there's, like I said on the cameras, you know, I'm not, the cameras kind of reinforce that, makes them stay back. And by the way, if you're someone who's worried about encounters or harassment from them, I'm telling you, the cameras are your cheapest and best defense, whether it's like I'm doing here or trail cameras around the camp, around your house, or whatever your outdoor activity. It really pushes down the odds of something happening and keeps them back, because that rule they have about not getting captured on camera, getting their picture taken, it's a strong deterrent. I mean, you know, they'll run from human beings. They could rip us apart, but when they're discovered, they take off running like they fear us. I don't think they fear us, but I think they fear the repercussions. They fear the repercussions of being seen by us. And like I said before, that's always the $10,000, one of the $10,000 questions. Who do they fear? Why do they fear them? And who enforces the no picture, no interaction rule? You know, that'll give you mind benders. So anyway, so like, you know, like I said, I'm conflicted because there's no need researching them. I know that any interaction with them, seeking them out on purpose, trying to research them, is going to cause me all kinds of trouble like it did a few years ago. And though I, like everybody else, I would love to romanticize them and feel special because I have a relationship or interaction with them. I guess it's better. I don't know, I guess you'd call it a relationship. There's a couple of them that have displayed personality and I've interacted, not directly, but with the silly stuff they've done. So it's, I guess you could call it, it's almost like an acquaintance. They know me and I know them, but they're not my friend and I'm not their friend. I guess it's the best way to put it. And so, but they'll do things, you know. I'm, you know, and with an acquaintance, if they need help, I'm going to give it. If they're in need, etc. And pleasantries, that's the way it feels like with this. And that's the way I've kept it, I guess, on those terms, on purpose. So, anyway. So, that's kind of how I, you know, I view it. And like I said, the thing people need to realize, it's so serious. This is so serious. People don't get how serious it is. It's not a TV show. This is not Finding Bigfoot. This is not, you know, Expedition Bigfoot. This is not the hundreds of other shows out there. You know, this isn't a fun family activity. These things are real. They have will, intellect, emotion. They're people. They're a people. Me the other day I was going through some of my videos and I like to sometimes, you know, I'll go through frame by frame and when I find a really good frame I might enhance it and work on it. And I was working on the blue Sasquatch. Had a good frame. I ran it through the blurry to blur and worked it down. And I mean, in this one frame you could see the bags under his eyes. And he had jaws. I mean, it was he was very human looking, except the fact that he had blue hair. But he had blue hair all over his body, including his head. And he had blue hair. His face didn't have hair on it. It looked like, you know, just like someone who has just a little bit of body hair. The squirrels again. You know, so his beard was started under here. And there was blue hair here. But his face was no hair, no mustache, no hair on his cheeks or his jawline. And, but I just thought, how, you know, I'm looking at a person. You know, this isn't pareidolia. This isn't, I know for me it's like, it's not a monster. This is a person. I mean, the face had character. The face had emotion. It was a real face. It was a face that had experience. You know, I was looking at a picture of someone that had experiences and had will, intellect, emotion. I mean, you could just, I mean, everything about the face, the proportions were right. The bags under the eyes, on both eyes. And the lips, you can actually see his lower lip. He had enough of a lower lip. You could see a little bit of red. Upper lip was just almost non-existent, but you could definitely see that lower lip. He's kind of jutted a little bit. And it made me realize, you know, we're not dealing with cartoon characters, superheroes, children's books, subjects. You know, this is not a fairy tale. These are real people. And they're hybrids. And they have all kinds of abilities. We're just now beginning to put our finger on and wrap our heads around. But at the end of the day, they're people. They have will, intellect, emotion. They have situations going on. They have feelings. They're thinking. There's stuff going on in their heads. You know, as much as we want everything to be about us, I'd say 99.99% of the time, even during an encounter, it ain't about us. That Sasquatch that stepped out in front of the trail staring at you is getting your attention so his family can run off behind you. Or that's Sasquatch that gets up screaming and throwing a fit, scaring the shit out of you, or excuse me, scaring the poo out of you. He's doing that for a reason. He wants you in that area. And it ain't just because you're a human being. There's other reasons. There are going to be some very complicated reasons behind why he doesn't want you in that area. So I guess that's one of the things, when I read these letters from people emails from people who, idolize them. If that's what you want to do, fine. I'm concerned. That's all. I'm just concerned. I'm concerned that you're opening yourself up to things that could be a danger to you. And I feel like I ought to warn you. And some people, well, you warned me, but everything's great. We're exchanging gifts, and they're helping me explore and open up and, realize who I am and my place in the world. Great. But I see all sides of it. I see the 360. So I also see the side of this where they terrorize and do other bad things to people. And they're mean and they're evil. And so I see the whole spectrum. And just like human beings, there's good, the bad, and the ugly. And I guess was like a sobering realization. I'm looking, they're people. So when I encounter one in the forest, it's just like I'm encountering a stranger in a city street. I don't know what this person's thinking. I don't know what they're capable of. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they've done in the past or what they could be the nicest person in the world, or they could be a, serial killer. I don't know. And just like a person on the street, most of the time it's pleasantries or a grunt and a nod or hello, goodbye. That's it. And it's the same thing with the Sasquatch in the forest. You don't know. And he's not going to tell you. And he doesn't come with a blaze sign on his chest, or her chest. Serial killer. Mass murderer, criminal, outcast, or I'm a good guy. I'm benevolent. I'm malevolent. I'm whatever. You don't get that. And that's why it's just, it's why I keep doing videos about it, because I keep getting emails about it. If you want to know what, majority of my emails are PTSD and dealing with the fear and the encounters, or I've got an ongoing relationship with them, everything's great and hunky-dory. And I don't have, and then I have some that just would like to tell me their experience, which it's good, and just say this is what happened to me, and just kind of get it off their chest. But those the three flavors, and of different emails and flavors, probably not the word, types of emails. But I keep getting this, it's over and over. It's not like, that's the thing. And I literally can group the emails in those three categories. So I'm trying to deal with, all three categories in one video here. So, and deal with the fear aspect, deal with the the aspect that people think they're the benevolent keepers of the forest, and have something that forest that we need to learn from them. And then the others that are scared to death of them, had bad experiences. They get harassed by them, they kill livestock, they beat on the side of the house, they're ferocious, and we don't know what else they do, and everybody says, well, we don't know that they really took someone. So I've got plenty of Native American encounters, and one of my good friends in British Columbia, has been attacked by them, and was able to thwart the attack by calling on the name of the Lord, or his friend was. But, you know, they meant to do him harm. You know, and like I said, I've said this before, when you encounter that Sasquatch, hey, you know, people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. I believe with all my heart it's the truth. He has options, or it has options to deal with you. And what you have to understand, killing you and making you disappear is on that list. Now, it may be down here at number 99, but it's on the list. I don't know about you, but when I encounter someone that's aggravating me, murdering them, killing them, is never on the list. Never. So I think that's, if I get that across to people, just remember that. No matter how trustworthy and how wonderful, nice, helpful they seem, killing you is always on the list of options. Usually not chosen because it's too much to deal with. If you go missing, then there's going to be, you know, these woods are going to be saturated with researchers or searchers, and it's going to, you know, upturn everything. We're going to have to move out of the area until it cools down. It's just too much trouble. It's easier to scare them off, or run them off, or hide from them. But you've got to understand, it's on the menu. And I don't care whether it's a dog man, whether it's Sasquatch, or any of these other cryptids, that's on the menu. Your demise is on the menu. And I think if I had one thing about this whole video you could take with you and remember, that's it. Just remember that and act accordingly. Do your activities accordingly with that in the back of your mind. And, you know, like I said, and the other things with the trail cameras and never going alone, GPS, going armed, those things, you know, it's it's layers of things. But I think if I can get that across, just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, killing you is always on their menu of options to dealing with you. I think that sobers people up to realize, you know, hey, you know, they may look friendly and they may smile, but getting rid of me, if, you know, if the right situation came along, they'd take me out. And I think that's important. I'm going to change the batteries. I'll be right back. Back trail batteries. Okay. Got my back trail up and running. Heard a big thump, like something jumping out of a tree. Or it could have just been a big walnut. Smell right there. Got me a smell right there. One's around. I guess I was talking too loud about them, but that's all right. So back to this conflict that a lot of us have. You know, a part of us wants to romanticize the Sasquatch. It's got to be the common sense side, and don't take that wrong, but it's got to be the realization maybe that these things, these beings, these people aren't what we think they are, and they're real. The consequences of dealing with them is real, and the outcomes to encounters may not always be what we want them to be, and can be very dangerous to us. I don't know how much plainer I can make that. And that's the reason for the Sasquatch Awareness Project. That's the reason for the book. It's just to get the word out. That, you know, there's... Sorry, I got this heavy backpack. And I've not been walking as frequently and as much as I should, so I'm a little out of breath. Good thing about this trail, it's all downhill on the way out. But I'm trying to remember to put my mouth in the camera and speak as loud as possible. I'm from the old school where I was taught when you're in the woods, just be quiet. Just in general, even if you're having fun, you don't yell and scream and act a fool and talk loud in the forest. You just don't. It's just what I was taught. So it's hard for me to speak up and talk real loud. It's just, don't want things knowing I'm in the woods or getting people's or things' attention. And but anyway, I'm coming up to where the white Sasquatch was captured. Right up there. Right around this bend. Many years ago now. Me and my son were walking down this trail. And he, of course it's changed so much. The tree is actually fallen, but where that splintered, broken off tree is, there was, at that time, there was some laurel. And he kind of made a line of bushes. And he came this way. Actually, when you look at the full video, it almost looks like he did some sort of decloaking move. I can't prove it. It sure does look like it. Of course, with the camera moving, him moving very fast, the camera not stabilized, and then like I run it through stabilization software, it gives it a real funny stretched out look. Like when you're, like if you're filming somebody running, how they'll stretch out and things of that nature. Especially if you slow mo and you don't have a high def camera. I mean, I had a 1080p, but it's not a slow motion camera. We're doing 30 frames per second here. This is not a football instant replay grade camera. So we're not doing that. I don't even know what it is, high speed slow motion camera. So there's a lot going on in the frame. So it looks all stretched out and translucent for a minute, for a second. So like I said, I don't know if it's the effect of the camera or he really was materializing from being cloaked. There. There's a yellow jacket. The jerks of the forest, they'll sting you just because they want to. So with that, I get back to I get back to the fact that it's a struggle that a lot of us have that have done this for a long time. It's knowing that research is futile, really. But that it's a bug you get. It's just a bug. Wanting to learn something new or find something out. But that you just can't expose yourself to that. And it's kind of letting it go. Letting it go. And moving on. And that's what you got to do. I had a goal, set the goal. The goal was to scientifically prove their existence and get as much information as I could. I did that. I was part of the Sasquatch genome study. David Pilates and Dennis Erickson and Wally Hersham and Melba Ketchum and the whole crew. And, you know, did really good work. And we showed that the Sasquatch is a human hybrid, which is still being borne out today. You know, however you want to slice it, it's a human hybrid. But a lot of berries. Oh, it's a good breeze up here. Top of this ridge top. But, you know, now it's time to, you know, I've realized it, I've been doing it, it's time to, you know, move on to, you know, other projects, other things, like the Sasquatch Awareness Project. Now the discovery part is over. The education and information stage has begun, and helping people they have had to deal with this. That's very important, and that's where we're at now. And that, I guess that's the whole, other than the fact that your demise is on their list of options. The other point of this video is the Sasquatch Awareness Program or Project. For you to understand that I'm here and there's others, Steve Ishdahl, David Pilates, and others are in this community that are seeking to help people and deal with these things that they've had encounters with, to educate. And I think, you know, people have a right to know what's in the woods. They have a right to know when they take their family to a state park or a national park or any kind of recreation area, what's out there, and so they can be informed and prepare accordingly, just like you would now. Just like I know there are bears here and in the Smoky, so I carry bear spray and take other precautions. So, you know, camping wise, hiking wise, you know, I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm aware that, you know, I've educated myself on bear behavior, what to do and what not to do. And it's the same thing with the Sasquatch and these other cryptids. People ought to be aware, given a heads up, and, you know, should know what they're getting into. So, that being said, I think this is a good stopping point. I babbled now for, what, an hour or more. I hope this helped somebody. Again, God bless everybody and be careful out there. Pray for me, pray for our world, pray for our country. A lot of stuff going on. Every now and then we just need time to unwind, take a deep breath. That's what I'm doing today. Well, I'm on top at my happy spot. It's a nice air-conditioned area. And I guess to summarize my babblings today, fresh air. It's always a breeze here, even when it's 600 degrees. It's still good. Heard a tree fall, which is, I've heard them fall before, but it's something when a big one falls. Very loud. You could hear the tree explode or pop at the bottom when it fell over. I didn't have any cameras going at the time. But it's nice and quiet here. The crickets. I could definitely sit down there and take a nap. But so where was I? Oh yeah. So to summarize, number one is don't let an experience with Sasquatch steal your joy. Learn to overcome the fear through faith, through friends, family, combination of the three. Get back out there. Baby steps, small hikes, and then longer hikes. Take someone with you. Go to a totally different location, maybe even a location that's got a lot of people at it, you know. You and 100 of your best friends, as they say. But get back out there. Don't let an experience rob you of your joy. Again, practical wise, take cameras with you, etc., etc., and that will help kind of put a buffer there, because you know that they're camera shy, I guess. There's one watching me anyway. He gave me the tip that he was there. Made a sound right then. Yeah, it is what it is. It's pretty quiet here, but it's not like... No, it's still got, you know, still got bugs and stuff, but it's quiet. The local wildlife knows he's around. It's over there somewhere. Over yonder. I heard a snap. I think it sounded like he crunched. What I mean by crunched is he just moved his foot, pushed down, crushed some stuff under his feet. It was muffled. It wasn't like a snap. It's kind of like a, yeah, I'm right here. And it's kind of like, oh, I know you are. But anyway, so speaking of not stealing joy, let's don't let them steal the show. But that's the first thing. The second thing is to remember that these things are a people. They're not a cartoon character. They're not superheroes. They're not the caretakers of the forest. Now, some may act that way, and some may give you that impression. That's great. But realize you're dealing with a sentient being that has intellect, will, and emotion. It's a person. And there's a reality to that. And that goes to my third point is, don't always remember that on the menu of options to deal with you, killing you, taking you out, is on their list. It is. It just is. And I'd love to tell you that it's not, but I've personal experience and the experience of about 5-6 people now, especially like a couple of experiences. One particular experience where a guy it was mind speaking him, and it literally told him, I want to kill you. If I could kill you, I would. Like, he wanted to, but he was being prevented. You know, and that guy, actually talking to him, when I realized that as far as the Sasquatch is concerned, taking you out, killing you is on the menu. So don't ever forget that and approach them like that. That's my opinion and that's my advice. Respect, not fear. You should respect them. I respect the bears, I respect the mountain lion, wild hogs. You say, are you afraid of them? No, I respect them. I know they could harm me or attempt to harm me, and I don't want that to happen. But I'm not like, if I see a bear, I'm not going to freak out and have, to go to the therapist over, seeing a bear. So that's the difference between respect and then, when you see something that's not supposed to exist and it kind of messes with your reality, your perception of the world, throws you into a cognitive dissonance where your brain's like, I got a pretty good beat on the world, and this is the way things are, and then you see something that can't be denied that goes against that core belief system and what you think the world is, and then that's what cascades into PTSD and all the other problems and fear and the inability to go back out, because you got to accept those things exist and are real, and you've got to work them into your reality. And that's tough for some people. It just is. It's just tough. And I get it. I understand. But that's where you just got to take it a day at a time. Prayer, meditation, asking for strength, and baby steps. And I'm not giving medical advice, and I'm no medical professional. That's what worked for me. So, in closing, in my second closing, you guys, I'm going to head out now. It takes me about 45 minutes to get out of here. And I need to get. I hate to do it, but time is an enemy that stalks us all. So, got to get back to the trailhead, get back to the house. But everybody take care. Be careful out there. And until next time, I'll see you later.